Yeah, this is part two to VIGO's request on black swirling, you know, and what happened is the camera messed up in recording. But basically, man, the black women sided, the baby boomer black women sided with the white feminist and basically started supporting them. And when they started supporting them, this is also an extension of swirling. You know what I mean? Is that this is where it started. So the black women wanted more access to the white men, and to get that access, they sided with the white women. And this was the baby boomer black women. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, baby boomer black women, and then marching with and it was a combination of destruction for the black community. On one side, you got black women supporting the government, taking assistance from the government without with the black man not present. Then on the other side, you have them allowing and supporting Margaret Stringer, who brings in the abortion clinics and not protesting it, on a massive scale. Then you have eventually walking with, white feminists for women rights, when in actuality the white women had rights as women. You know what I'm saying? They had absolute rights. And the black women marching with them were literally the baby boomer black women marching with them were basically, seeking access to the white man. You know what I mean? Because how is this same government that's killing you, having police harass your men, because there was a lot of black women at the time that were also being, had their sexuality taken. You know what I'm saying? Had sexuality taken from them by this government. So you have them walking with the white feminists for women rights when you don't even have rights as a woman yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't even exist in the country as a woman. You exist as a black woman. And this is why you have in America still they referring to an African American was murdered today. An African American. They don't just say an American was murdered. You know what I'm saying? And then you could go into detail. Well, on today's news, an American was murdered, and he was of African descent. Boom. Or, you know what I mean? Or you just say an American was murdered, a black American. Instead, you still have an African American was killed. See, they prioritize African then American. They're still pointing out that because you're black and you were born here, you're not American first. They reserve that right to white Americans when they're killed. It's a very divisive technique to maintain division, to project inferiority. Even though we're both born here, only one of us is allowed to be American. So, what happened is with the swirling thing is that, like I said, and this, you have the baby boomer black women march with the white feminists during the women's rights before they even had rights to be referred to or treated as just women in general. The white women were marching for more rights, and the black women were just marching with them, thinking they would get any rights. You know what I mean? They got the right to basically destroy their entire black community, because once you place the woman above the man, as a form of leadership, it becomes a leadership born of allowance and weakness. You know what I'm saying? So the government knew, hey man, how do we destroy the black man and him becoming a leader? Well, we take that leader position away, and now we've feminized the black man. So, they march with the baby boomer black women march with the white woman, and it was all to obtain more access. Now, the problem, as I mentioned on the Sad Black Woman video, the problem is the black men didn't call this out. You even got photos of some dumbass black men, baby boomer black men, marching with the black women on the feminist, the white woman march. You know what I'm saying? To some support their black women and some to get access to white women. You know what I'm saying? So now let's get to the bottom of the swirling thing and why there's a major form of aggression towards black men sleeping with other races of women, and why black women are openly, claiming that they seek to swirl. And even though the numbers showcase that, black women are, least chosen by any other race, as I covered on my Sad Black Woman video, you know what I'm saying? But basically, a lot of black women have, with the swirling thing, is that they seek to be with other men and so on. They seek to be with other men. It's also a genetic thing, but at the same time, they seek to be submissive to other races of men. And the reason for this is that they know the power dynamics have been completely destroyed between black men and black women. You know what I'm saying? The black man is the most disposable man in America. The most disposable. Since the baby boomer black women basically cut the dynamics away from leadership of the black man by siding with the white feminists, supporting, abortion clinics coming to the black community in mass at a time where the black family was actually projected to be damn near 50% or more of the American population. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is you have this divide, and what happens with those swirling thing is that black women seek out more power and seek out a male authority, and the male authority will come from other races, because with a white man, that black woman can't, openly attack or disrespect them. So to feel any sense of male authority that doesn't have to do with thugs and drug dealing and gangsters, a black woman would have to go towards a non-black man, which is a white man, a Latino man, Asian man, men that lead their communities, you know what I'm saying, that have, the majority of power and representation, So this is why you see a lot of black women swirling. And there's actually a very famous case where a black woman and a white man, went to court to have the right to be together. And, some of that we don't know. We don't know if that had a play to do with with the white feminist or the government in general. Because, why would, because, yeah, man, that one is a major issue. They went to court for, so you could have interracial couples. But here's the thing. Here's where interracial couples don't matter, is that how do you go to court for interracial couples when it ain't right for certain races, when other races don't have access to equal justice and taxation? For example, when I mean taxation is that your taxes pay for the police, yet you're a race that gets targeted and attacked by the police the most. This is why interracial dating, why would interracial dating matter when when without your other racial partner you're in danger? For example, without the white man present, that black woman, if she's traveling or alone, she's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? There's a chance the cops might take her sexuality, abuse her, or the judicial system in general. You know what I'm saying? In actuality, if you look at interracial dating, even in today's society, interracial dating is basically, give more pickings to, to white men and non-black men. Basically, it's if a white man can't get a white woman, he can get a black. It's actually to give other races of people more women, you know what I'm saying, more access to more options versus the non other races, you know what I mean? Because I covered this on my other video. I covered this on Battle of the Sexes video. I released women versus men video. Is that what happens is when a white man has a child with a black woman, that child is more disadvantaged. Not only is that child more disadvantaged, but that child brings more of a burden to a white man because, for example, that white man has a child with a black woman, that child will always look more black. That child will have, black features, the nose, the lips, you know what I'm saying? He will have predominantly black features with, I guess, straight hair, curly straight hair or whatever, but that child will most likely be black in appearance. And what happens with that is that child will deal with that white father will deal with all the issues that comes with having a black child, because a black man has no rights. You know what I'm saying? So the cops will pull over his child when that kid is driving. That's why you still see videos of white fathers and white mothers saying, I've never had to deal with racism like that, so when they picked up my child and when they racially targeted my child, I didn't know what to do or how to handle it. And this happens because, the black man still faces these issues. What happens when black women sided with the white feminists and the white government in general is that they ensured that their children, any offspring of a black woman, would never actually live in a country. Like I said, when the baby boomer black women sided with the white feminists and the white government, they ensured that their children would never see a country where they were treated in the eyes of the law as equals. You know what I'm saying? Because you removed the strength of your men. Once you openly disrespect and weaken your men, you will not have access to equal treatment. Because once the government sees that the men can't lead and they can give you allowance to live on and how they choose to treat you, you ensure that your children that you bear will never, or it will always struggle with achieving justice. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole goal. And what's going on with the whole swirling thing is that black women are, and this is where it changes. You have the millennial and Gen Z black women, and this is why black men are pushing against black women, and they're seeing a lot of the black men that are waking up to historical facts are seeing that the millennial black women and Gen Z black women and I think what's the next gen, Zoomer black women are continuing the work of the baby boomer black women. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing in the same government that was attacking black men, targeting black men's seed and their offspring, and leading with that. You know what I'm saying? Leading with that as a strength. That's why you see so much. I'm black. I'm a black woman. I'm independent. I don't need no man. Black men are garbage. Niggas ain't shit. You know what I mean? That slogan, niggas ain't shit. You know what I mean? Because they are leading with the government. They're basically saying we're the government's favorite. We're favored by the government than you black men. So, we'll do whatever we want. That's why you see black women putting their black men on child support, alimony, what I'm saying, still promoting the abortion and the, so much destruction is being promoted. And when it comes to the anger towards black men dating outside of black women is that there was a deal made with the baby boomer black women and the baby boomer white women that were, the feminists, is that we would give you access to our power. We would empower you, and you would have your black men be your slaves. You know what I'm saying? They would be your slaves. And this is why black women are predominantly angered when you see a black man dating outside of his race, because that wasn't the deal. The deal was that they would be our slaves and the black community would be a matriarchy. We would decide the black man's fate. If we can't get access to a white man, we would go right back to our black slave, the black man. You know what I'm saying? This is why the modern black man is looking at the modern day black woman. This is why black men, over 40% of black men aren't even having children with black women at all. That means out of 13, I think the black population is it's at, what is it? I think it's at 14%, and that number might be skewed or manipulated because Haitians like me, Africans, Nigerians, Jamaicans, Honduras, a lot of them claim to be on the census. They claim to be black also. So it corrupts the number. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of blacks, man. This is why black men at over 40% don't even have children, because they see the writing on the wall that they're inferior in the eyes of the law. Black women have far more rights than black men. This is why you got Black Lives Matter openly, led by a black woman that basically said that we don't want straight black men in leadership, and we actually suggest that black women should actually, they promote aborting far more sons than aborting, daughters. You know what I'm saying? So what you have with the black swirling thing and why there's such a, anger is that why would a master want their slaves to be free? And, you got to look at the difference between the black man and the black woman. The black man is the most disposable man in America. You know what I'm saying? Killed, and used. Look at George Floyd's death. He died. Did Joe Biden sign a law that's anti-discrimination towards black people? Nope. He used George Floyd's death to sign a anti-racial bill for Asians. So George Floyd died for Asian rights. You know what I'm saying? George Floyd died for Asian rights. You know, because here's the thing about black rights, it doesn't matter to the white government in general. It doesn't matter to the white feminists in general, because an anti-black discrimination bill would have been signed in the 1960s. It would have been signed in the 1960s after it was openly on video, where you had fire hydrants being sicked on blacks, dogs, all this stuff. Did they pass an anti-black discrimination bill then? Did they put blacks in position, black men in positions around the country to be in leadership to deal with that and promote anti-discrimination? Nope, it didn't. So you look at it now and you understand, man. The black man's death is being used to increase news ratings, and it's been done forever. Even what is it? The I forget their name. The 5 black boys that were in the park. 5 young black kids in the park. Forget the case in New York, and they were without their parents. The cops this is how you can tell a black man is disposable, has no political representation. The cops just kept 5 minors, 5 minor boys in a prison cell, with them just yelling at them, cursing at them for a potential rape case where they had no evidence. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the something Park 5, you know what I mean? Because you can do that. You got idiots, you got black people without critical thinking. How can they do this? Because you have no political representation. You know what I'm saying? It's politically correct. What are you going to do? You don't have any authority, political authority. So, you know what I'm saying? They questioned the 5 black minors without any representation. They didn't have their families present or nothing. You know what I'm saying? They just kept going, kept harassing them till they got them to say what they wanted. 5 young minors, man, or teenagers, just being harassed by the police, the police that their family pay taxes to support, just openly attacking 5 young boys, man. Minors. This is what we live in. This is what happens when this is the sins of the baby boomer black women siding with the white government and the white feminists. You know what I'm saying? Once you take male leadership out, it's easy to deal with you. It's easy. And what's happened, to go further with the swirling thing, is, like I said, you know what I'm saying? You even see it with a black woman, like I said. If you look up the case, I forget its name, but a black woman and a white man teamed up to take it to court for interracial dating. You know what I'm saying? I used to think, oh, that's a good thing, but in reality, no. Interracial dating doesn't matter when you, in the eyes of the law, both groups don't have, equal respect and equal representation and, equal justice. All interracial dating did was basically say, well, if you're white, you know what, you can have black woman if you can't get a white woman. You know what I'm saying? White man, you could have a black woman if you can't get a white woman. You know what I'm saying? And you could have the cream of the crop, whatever. Your pick. You know what I mean? Your pick, because, hey, you still have political power, political representation. You know what I'm saying? All interracial dating did was basically open the floodgates for, white men to basically have other groups of women to choose from. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really help those races of men. They're gonna bring up, well, they were, well, by having interracial dating, you can showcase that these black people, for example, a white man dating a black woman, you could show that she's a normal woman and deserves rights just like any other woman. Just like if you have a black man with a white woman, you can showcase that they deserve any rights as a couple than any other time. Basically, they're double speaking, basically saying the only time that issues matter is if there's a white person involved. You know what I'm saying? You deserve your rights because there's a white person involved. You know what I mean? That's how you showcase when it's normal versus the majority of your own race coming together. That's not interracial. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of corruption with it, man. A lot of corruption. And, I'll probably touch up on that separately. But basically, interracial couples, it doesn't do nothing. You know what I mean? Because what changes? A good example, Lonzo Ball, the Ball family. There's a lot of money in the Ball family. So, you won't see Alonzo get, a lot of racial issues unless a cop doesn't know who he is. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, because a black father doesn't have any, political power, political representation, any child sired by or resembles a black man will have the same issues. So that's what happened. Now, like I was saying, so interracial couples is basically giving white people and non-black men more pickings. And what's happened, and this is why you see, the over-sexualization of black men becoming sex objects, just like their women, is that by not having male leadership, growing up in the black community, which is over 80%, children born out of wedlock, children, single mothers, over 80% single mothers, is that the mothers teach their sons not manhood, but basically how to lead from a sexual object perspective. That's why you see black men seeking to be sexual objects for white women in general. I mean, this is why you see black men's highest achievement is that they got a BBC. Hey, once you go black, once you go black, you never come back. That's the biggest achievement, is a black man's sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Because without black fathers around that had their black sons' achievements be based off of their work and their, their property ownership and so on, their black men have become basically sexual objects because they're predominantly being raised by their black mothers, single mothers who they see, sleeping around, who see manipulating their sexuality to get what they want. And what happens is, to that black boy or that black male being raised in that scenario, he seeks to dominate the world with his sexuality. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad enough that he doesn't have a male influence, going to school, predominantly female teachers, then he goes home. His predominant leadership is, female, so he seeks to grow up to be a sex object. Now, he'll be a sex object either being a straight man, a gay man, or, a transformer man, or whatever. But his sexuality will be one of the main focus. That's why you see Little Nas X and all that. You know what I mean? That's why you see such a movement towards a black man's sexuality. That's why you see the news openly saying, oh, white women will be with black men for their sexuality. It's not because he's a good leader. It's not because he's a good role model, a father, a businessman. No, it's about his sexuality. You know what I mean? So to me, man, this is why. And the whole swirling thing is that black women are basically saying they should have, and this is how you can tell the millennial black women and the Gen Z black women and the eventual Zoomer black women are just continuing what the baby boomer black women started. You know what I'm saying? And this is why a lot of black men are openly walking away, and they were the first ones. Black men were the first ones to go MGTOW, go their own way, because black men at a clip of over 40% aren't having children with their black women. And a lot of that has to do with choosing and so on by the black women. But basically, black men in general, over 40% aren't having any children. You know what I'm saying? Aren't having any children at all. And you have the black community plagued by, black female leadership, which is over 80% single mothers. You have a lot of black men being demonized, and what's happened to black men is they survived Oprah, who was openly demonizing the image of black men. Oh, they're all thugs, they're all drug dealers. One of the greatest interviews you could see with her is look up her interview with Ice-T, who shut her down. Ice-T, who put Oprah in her place. But that was one black man. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it didn't matter what he said, because the black women have the support of the white feminists, and you know what I'm saying, they have far more, and who have access to the white men's networking of money. So, you know what I mean? And the other thing is, the other reason the swirling, like I said, before I close it, the major reason the swirling thing and black women are getting chosen far less, and some are adapting, you know what I mean? But it's that attitude, that unchecked attitude in the, black community, you know what I'm saying? Single mother raised, and when a woman's raised in a single mother house, she thinks it's normal, because it was her normality to be in a single mother household. So she openly seeks and has been, programmed to basically have a child and be fine with it. But the reason you see black women swirling not working out is that, of course, as I previously mentioned, the issues with having a child that looks black, and all the political and judicial issues, the fact that a white father, an Asian father, has to worry about their kid. Once their child becomes a teenager, they got fear for their child's life when it comes to, their interactions potentially with police and the judicial system. Because, a lot of people like to bring up, well, we live in a free country. Those blacks that their eyes are not open to the issues. Black people get tried and get longer sentences in general. Black men get longer sentences in general for being black. So what do you want? They don't have any judicial representation, political representation that's stable enough to demand and ensure that they're, justified, And I'm gonna set up a political video on that. But there's a major issue. Then the major issue for Asian men, white men, is that you get a black woman pretending to be white. So her features, the straight hair, her wearing a wig, her perming and burning her scalp, and the smell that comes with that, the fact that the white man, the Asian man, doesn't get an interaction with a truly different woman. He gets an interaction with a woman pretending to be what she's not, pretending to have features she doesn't really have, straight hair. You know what I'm saying? So they get access to that instead of the full access, the full black experience of being with a woman of black descent. You know what I'm saying? So they got touched that fake hair and weave and so on. They don't get a full access to the black natural woman. Now, some black women are making their hair natural. They're adapting a little to see that, yeah, the white man actually wants, if a white man's with you, he actually wants the full experience. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't just want your black skin and your black features. He wants your hair to be black too. He wants you to be proud to be black so he can actually experience it rather than an artificial white woman he left behind with a wig and weave and so on. You know what I'm saying? So you have that. Then you have the unchecked attitude. You know what I'm saying? And this has been bred into black women for over what is it now? 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 80s. So, the strong black woman, which is bred out of not being strong for her man, but being bred to be strong against her man and openly choosing to be masculine rather than submissive and supportive. The white man doesn't want to deal with that either. So you have black women ending up being less chosen. And then you have a obesity issue with black women because since the black women are predominantly the leadership of their community and have immunity to a black man's authority, they no longer have a reason to stay in shape or be healthy. You know what I mean? Because that health used to be about impressing their man. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to cover on that, man. But I covered a lot of it on, women versus men. I covered it on, sad black woman. I even covered it on my liberal masters video. I covered it on the last black man, Ice Cube, the last black man. I covered it on many videos, you know what I'm saying? But the whole swirling thing is this. The black women marched with, the baby boomer black women marched with the white feminists, allowed the white government in their household. They should be the only ones to have access to, whites and other races of people, not their slaves, the black man, because that's what the black man is. The black man is a slave, because he has no authority. That's why you see Trayvon. That's why you see so many black men dying, and it's used for, to get the news stations more ratings. It's used as a distraction. I mean, look at the death of George Floyd. He died. You got all these, riots, protests, and guess what? Did they pass an anti-discrimination bill for black men? For black people? No, they passed an anti-discrimination bill for Asians. So, George Floyd died for Asian rights, man. George Floyd should be made a statue in all Asian communities holding a samurai sword, or, if it's a Chinese community, a dynasty sword or whatever. George Floyd needs a statue in the Asian community. But, I hope this answered a lot for you, VIGO. And, much respect for the request. And this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Peace.